right, America, we are back with another episode of Political Pulse Live. Joined again tonight by my co-host Lin Su and Bill Reicheter. Let's say hi to America, everybody. All right. So now, so before we get started, again, if you've been liking the content that we've been reeling out for the past few weeks, please make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe either on Facebook at Political Pulse Live, also at YouTube. Don't forget the @ symbol at Political Pulse Live on YouTube. And if you're on Twitter, it is Political Pulse 2. So please, if you're liking the content, make sure you are liking it, subscribing, and following our content, our channel. So tonight, as you can see, the last few shows we've done has been, we've had a lot of political guests. Either they were candidates or people that, get candidates elected. So those have been really awesome shows. But tonight's show it's a little bit more near and dear to pretty much everyone's heart. We're discussing a very sensitive topic. Some might even call it controversial, but it's very important that we discuss these things. So we have a special guest tonight. He is the founder of Fathers for Freedom or Florida Fathers for Freedom. And he's here again to discuss a very sensitive subject as it relates to our children. I hope parents everywhere are paying attention. And, whether you have a one side view or another side view, just, be open-minded, listen, hear us out. We'll hear you out. Everybody just have a conversation about this very sensitive subject. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my co-hosts, Bill and Lynn, and see if you guys want to invite our guest, Elon Gerberg, tonight.
All right. Let's bring him on.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Welcome.
Great. Welcome.
Welcome to
the show.
Having me.
Thanks so much for coming today.
Absolutely.
So, I think this is a topic that you're very passionate about, obviously, because you founded an organization. Can you tell us a little bit about that organization? So in case our viewers who are not familiar with it, they understand more.
Sure. So I started Florida Fathers for Freedom. Basically, we are a group of fathers, parents, concerned citizens, and people that support our cause. And that cause is to protect our children from indoctrination, radicalization, sexualization, and even medical mutilation. And that's something that we've really pivoted our focus to. I started basically my kids were just embarking on their school journey. My daughter was getting ready to start kindergarten, and they had mask mandates in place. And, DeSantis had said that, we weren't going to allow masks, and it went back and forth. And, I thought it was my duty to really go at the forefront because I was concerned that, masks were going to, inhibit my daughter's ability not only to be social and but her education, I thought would be stunted by it. So, I thought a lot of parents that I was speaking with agreed with me, but I went to the school board to speak out against it. And something that I quickly noticed was there was a lot of mothers present, but there wasn't really a lot of dads. And so, I felt, a duty to really try to get fathers to come to the forefront, because the way that I was raised is, you mess with my family, it's honey, step back, let dad take over, because, you don't mess with my children, you don't mess with my family. So that was really the whole main focus of our organization, was really trying to get dads at the forefront to stand up and protect their children.
So what year was it founded? In 2020?
Yeah, so it's been a little over a year and a half. I guess, the mask mandates were, implemented in August of 2020. So, a lot has gone on since then. And, I feel like our children are our future leaders. They're the future of America. And in my view, they're under attack in every facet, I should say, of their lives. Mm-hmm. And so, being a parent, in my opinion, is a tougher job than ever before. I think a lot of us have kids on this chat here. And so, it's more incumbent upon us than ever to really band together, because I think that speaking up as a parent you can almost be chastised for anymore. And so, I think Florida Fathers for Freedom has really given, parents the ability to feel empowered to never be afraid to stand up for your children.
So how did you, like, you have the, obviously, like you said, mothers are usually the ones that are the protective ones over the children. How did you, when you founded it, how did you start getting fathers to join and become active in this? Because I think fathers have a very strong and more of a pushy opinion when they want to get something done. And I love the idea that the fathers, are protecting the children like the mothers are. So how did you get people involved, and how do you keep growing the organization? Because this should be a national organization. This is
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not an easy feat, I will tell you. I mean, dads, for the most part, they come to the football games, they come to the sporting events, but they really let mom, handle the schooling,
right.
and they really focus on. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but
Yeah,
a lot of
because
them are
that
like,
ain't in the case of my house.
exactly. So I'm not going to speak for everybody, but a lot of them they go to work. They're focused on being the breadwinners or whatever. But aside from what's really going on in school, I don't think, at least from my view, when I was at the school board, I saw one or two dads, but I saw a lot of passionate mothers, and so Bill, to get dads involved isn't always easy, but I just, I try to lead by example. When it came to the masking, I was leading rallies, not only challenging parents to get to the school board, but to speak out against it in every way possible. I was literally hitting car lines, passing out flyers to the protest I was putting together, just basically saying, listen, whether you're for masking, whether you're not, we believe that should be a parent's choice, and that the government and the school should not be making that medical decision for our children. And I think that alone resonates with a lot of people beyond political lines and beyond whether you're just a mom or a dad. But I think in seeing a father at the forefront that's very passionate, I think that is very relatable. Once you start seeing other people doing it and saying, you know what, he's doing it, I need to step up and do the same, because I'll be damned if I don't stand up for my kids. And that's really what I try to do, is just lead by example, show other parents what's really going on. Because unfortunately, I think that the way that I came up in school, and maybe a lot of you did, is way different than we're coming up. Kids are being faced with things that we never had to deal with, right? And it can access them very easily now through phones, through their music. It's everywhere. And so I feel like a lot of parents, they may not even know what's happening. They might not even be aware of what's going on. And so it's not just letting dads know that there's other dads at the forefront fighting against, fighting to protect children, but also letting people know exactly what's going on. What are the some of the challenges that I'm dealing with as a parent, and I think that other parents are dealing with.
Yeah, it's good that you're a united front too, right? The husband and wife there fighting for the child. It's stronger. It's much stronger.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely with Elon on this, because again, it's something when you see the father stepping, because Bill, like you're just alluding to now, like the mother and the father dynamic, it's one of those things that's now not familiar in America. And that's something that people seem to have forgotten, and fathers seem to have not been involved in the picture, because now it's the age of single mothers. But at the end of the day, that family dynamic, when the father steps in, that means it's getting serious. You, like Elon says, you are crossing a line with my children and my family, and this is where I put a stop to it. This is my right as a human being, and especially as an American. So I love the fact that he started this organization. When I first found out about it, I was jumping through the moon. I'm like, somebody's rallying some dads around here, because like I say, in my household, like my wife and I, we are what we call a power couple. We used to work because now I've transferred into a new life. But we used to have this thing where she'd cover one half of the day, I'd cover the other half of the day, but they'd get full parenting, hands on. So now I've shifted into full time dad mode, and it's like it's one of the toughest jobs you will ever have. So how dare the government say, "Hey, listen, let me help you out"? Like, no, this is a responsibility.
So Elon, I want to ask you a couple of questions, because I think like there's a lot of people, like I've had this, during the whole mask mandate, there were arguments about like, yeah, you don't want to spread it to other people, so you should be wearing a mask, et cetera, et cetera. What if kids go home to grandma and grandpa, What are those, are you familiar with any of those stats for our listeners? So this is my question one. There's a part B to that. But I was just wondering if you have like certain things that when you are talking at the school board, or when you're um, creating your mission statement for your organization, right? I'm sure there's some stuff that you have that you want to that I would like it. I'm asking you to share that with us.
Yeah, sure. And I will tell you, a lot of this stuff is not easy to find. It's censored. It's made, kept away from, the establishment wants a certain, they have a certain
narrative,
agenda, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Whether you believe that or not, I mean, that's my opinion. And
well, we're seeing that in Twitter right now, right? So
correct. Well, and now there's more of an open dialogue. Whether you don't like it or not, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But there's no one size fits all for anybody, and I don't think anybody really needs statistics to figure that out. There's there's the shy kid that already had a problem voicing up in class. Are you trying to tell me that putting a mask on that person is not going to inhibit them further?
Right.
There are kids like my son who, was in preschool at the time, and he's just learning how to talk, right? So it does not take a scientist to figure out that if you put a mask on the teacher and you put a mask on my child, and they're not seeing each other's verbal cues and mouths, that it's going to have a detrimental impact. And I can tell you that for me personally, masks are a hot button issue in my household, because it did have a huge impact on the growth of my son. I mean, he's getting ready to go to kindergarten, and until 6 months ago, we were talking about potentially keeping him in preschool for another year. And that is 100% attributed to the fact that his classmates, his peers, his teachers, you could not see faces. And so, but absolutely, like for example, there's Steve Petty, or I think it's Steve Perry. Excuse me but he's a lead what do you call industrial hygienist, and basically he put out a bunch of slides of basically on how masks are what he would compare to trying to throw marbles through a chain link fence, right? It's not blocking out anything. And you would see on the very box it says, these masks are not here to protect a virus. And you would see the biggest names in the game, even on CNN. There is an Asian woman, I can't remember her name.
Leona Wen.
Thank you. And she came out and said these masks are no more than a facial decoration. And the main thing was that,
no, but that's not what they said back in the day. Which is right. Yeah.
But that's fine, because you couldn't, on the mainstream media and the legacy media platforms, everything was censored. And we're seeing a lot of this, being admitted now and come to light with the Twitter files or whatever. And listen, you don't hear any mainstream media talking about that either. And it's very sad, because a lot of this has been politicized, right? And this is not a political issue. I can find somebody from every walk of life that has personally seen the impacts that these protocols from COVID have had on their children socially, mentally. And when I was going to the school board, I would bring that up. I would say, listen, yesterday, if you got the vaccine, you couldn't spread it to anybody, right? Everybody in the National Basketball Association had to get vaccinated. Next thing you know, they're having shutdowns and people that are being, they went to a bubble. Nobody could go in and out. People were still getting COVID. So you take these case studies and you try to, bring them in to speak as far as, just non-political as you possibly can, and say,
Right.
look at these case studies and
Mhm.
apply it to our children who we already know were at the least, they were the least susceptible. I mean, they were more likely to die from a car crash or from drowning than they were from COVID, right? And the whole big thing that I said from the beginning, to your point, Linsu, is that, well, you don't want them to bring it home to grandma. No, I don't. I
Mhm.
don't. Nobody wants anybody to get sick.
Right.
But, my whole thought was grandma should go get vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma should make sure that she is taking those precautions. But we cannot do that at the detriment of our children.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They're two totally separate things. Let's do everything we can to protect the elderly and the most susceptible, while at the same time protecting our children. Allow them to have a childhood, allow them to be social. My very first school board meeting, I held up my phone with a picture of my son holding hands, dancing in a circle with other children. That is what being a child is all about. How cruel and selfish of us to take that away from them. Forget
Mm-hmm.
the education standpoint. Just teaching kids to be scared of the air that they breathe or to be scared of being around another person,
Mm-hmm.
that what that does to their psyche automatically sets them up to be an introvert.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah. No,
from
there's going to be a lot of therapy involved in that one, for
Yeah.
I
sure.
got one tomorrow.
and from a
So,
personal experience, I I had asthma growing up. I still have it, but and then I had a heart surgery 2 years ago. Had a valve replaced, and they're telling me to wear a mask. My lungs weren't even ready to be 100%. But
Yeah.
the kids, if like growing up when I had asthma, I had to carry the little albuterol around and stuff. What are you supposed to do when you can't breathe and you have a mask on?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Medically, it's bad. So I mean,
yeah.
you're 100%
My
right.
my son deals with the same thing. My son has asthma. He was born in the NICU for 5 weeks. He was there because his esophagus didn't connect to his stomach, and he's had asthmatic issues ever since then. And that's why I think it's so important. Who is anybody? A school official, a school board member, a superintendent, a president, any political official, or
Right.
even a doctor for that matter, to put a blanket on an entire, I mean, Broward County is the second largest school district in the state, the sixth largest school district in the country. And you're trying to tell me there's one blanket answer for every single child in
Right.
the entire, it just doesn't work that way. And it's a slap in the face to parents to try to say it's that way or it's wrong. Well, no, it's not. You don't know my child, and you don't know what works best for my child. I am their parent. We have our own doctor, and that who's the decision should be made for, and that's why I was so passionate about it. And I think a lot of parents have agreed, that looking back, we were right.
Yeah. So real
Yep.
quick, because we're getting ready to run out of time, how can people join your movement?
Sure. So first and foremost, you can follow us on pretty much every platform. We're on Facebook, Florida Fathers for Freedom. We're on Instagram, Florida Fathers for Freedom, and you can follow us on Twitter, Florida Fathers for Freedom. But our main thing is we're running events all the time, and we're just trying to get as many parents to the forefront and spread the word. I mean, you can do as little as telling your neighbor some of the issues that we're fighting against, or come all the way to being at the forefront fighting with us. I mean, we literally had a debate with the mayor of Fort Lauderdale at our Protect the Children rally this past Saturday. So
Wow.
feel free to join. We'll get you involved. The more fathers protecting children, the better. And let's do all we can to make sure that we're setting up our children for success.
Well, in our
Awesome.
second episode, we're going to talk about that rally.
Okay,
Sounds good.
great.
Looking forward to it.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, we're going to go ahead, Mo, and take us out. Mo?
Mo's frozen.
Mo's
Anyway,
frozen.
if you like our content, like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, as well as YouTube and Twitter. So we're on everywhere, just like Florida Fathers for Freedom. So as for this episode, we are signing off, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.
All right. I don't know who froze, but bye.